Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of the Power Book 3 Raising Kanan Season 2 finale. This is episode 10, titled If You Don't Know, Now You Know.
Wow, we lost a lot of people in this episode. It was crazy. I thought last season's finale was like a 10 out of 10. This is like a 100 out of 10. This was so crazy.
Oh, what a night.
Oh, I'm never going to be able to hear that song without thinking about this.
I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but the directing of that whole 5 to 10 minute sequence coupled with the music, I thought was so well
Beautifully shot.
Like really, really well done. We lost a lot of people, but there's been times where this season has moved a little bit slow, but I think that this finale really took things to 11, really gave us a great ending, and now we have all these questions that they are going to make us wait forever until season 3 to see, and who knows when that's coming, because they're not even announcing stuff for Ghost yet.
I know. We've lost a lot of people, but we gained a very important alliance with Unique and Rock, and we're going to talk more about that. But before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Even though Raising Kanan is coming to an end, as you mentioned, we are going to be covering the rest of the Power universe. We already have been covering all the other seasons of the show, book 4, book 2, of course, book 3. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Also, House of the Dragon, the finale tonight. We're going to be covering that, so come back for that as well. And follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV.
Okay, let's just go ahead and start with Rock and Unique, because there was a lot of that going on in this episode.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so a few videos back, I put out there that I felt that there was this really heavy chemistry between Unique and Rock, and the idea that they might hook up, and that he said exactly what I said. There's a really thin line between sort of love and hate, and, people who were your enemies become your lovers, become your friends, become people on your side, and that is something that happens in life a lot. And it felt like we were kind of maybe moving towards it. The thing is just the character of Unique is so charismatic. He has chemistry with a floor lamp. Like anything that's around him is just like, ooh, because he just has so much charisma. But he sat down with her in this episode to let her know that the mob is coming after her, and that he said nothing to them, and instead he's coming to tell her what's going on. And right before he leaves, he's kind of like, so do you like me? And it felt so like a little bit nervousness out of him, where he's kind of like, listen, is there something here? Is there something between us? She doesn't say no. She doesn't say yes, but oh my goodness, she's smiling. She's blushing. She's biting her lip. We know that there is something there. And the way that this episode ended, where Rock got shot, and I thought that was it. Here comes Unique to shoot this guy, save her, extend his hand. I was like, oh my God, why do we have to wait so long for season 3?
I love Unique so much. I love this finale for Unique. I feel like there have been times this season where they have just sort of been like, you go, sit over here, Unique, and we're going to go and do all this other story right here. But it's like, okay, now we're in this really fascinating spot where moving forward, Unique doesn't have that many more options anymore, given that most of his crew was shot down.
Yeah, it looks like we're all gone. I mean, he really is kind of isolated. And Rock is kind of isolated as well. We'll get more into that conversation that she had with Lulu, but I mean, she's lost a lot in this episode. She's kind of on an island by herself, and the thing that is connecting her and Unique is where they're from. And I think that that's something that's a theme that just is across the board for everyone in life, right? Like, I'm from Toronto. I grew up in the Annex. That's my place. That's where I'm from. I'll always be loyal to where I'm from. And I think everybody feels that way.
It's a really unique, pun intended, bonding experience between these two.
Absolutely. Anytime I see one of you guys is like, I'm from Toronto, I'm like, yeah, I'm from Toronto too. Or anyone that comes on here and lets me know that they're also Guyanese, me too. I feel a connection. I think that's just normal to feel that connection.
One other thing with Unique that I'm going to throw out there because I've seen it in the comments, I've seen it online. It is a very, if we're going to go like big picture, like tinfoil hat theories here, I can't claim this one as my own, but the idea that could Unique end up, maybe undergoing a name change here and becoming Breeze down the road, because we know that Breeze is like this fundamental mysterious character in the world of Kanan and eventually the larger Powerverse. They haven't introduced this character on the show yet. Like I've even seen theories of like, does Malcolm Howard become Breeze and like something like that. It's all fun to think about, but at least now that, Unique is going to be in closer proximity to Rock because they're working together, he could be more influential on Kanan's life than he was in the past.
I can't wait until next season to see these two working together. I never thought that we were going to get here. After season 1 and everything that happened, I thought season 2 Unique was going to be on a revenge tour, and that was just the way that it was going to go, that he was going to do everything he could to get back into his spot. And even with that conversation that he had with Rock where she offered him a higher up position in her business, and he was just like, that's not for me. Like, I'm not here to work for you or for anyone. And to sort of, that's when he came in at the end, I was shocked. Like, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, okay, we know that Rock is just going to get killed. Who's going to come in and save her? I did not see that coming.
No, I thought it was going to be, I thought it would be somebody within the family or somebody.
I thought so too.
Some like close contact. And now the other interesting challenge here, of course, is that Unique was the big bad in season 1. Mm-hmm. And if he's going to go from big bad to, I don't know, big friend moving into season 3.
Best buddy. I'm kidding.
Okay, well, here's
at least working together.
The real question now is like, okay, who's the next big bad, or shall we say, who's the boss moving forward? It's Tony Danza, everybody.
He was so good. I haven't seen Tony Danza in something in a really long time, and I'm sure he's been working, and he's a working actor like Judith Light, who I just saw in American Horror Stories this summer, who was just a 10 out of 10 in her episode, just incredible. And it was a nice reminder to see Tony Danza in this, as a reminder, he's not just a comedic actor. He is excellent. And I'm really was excited to hear that he's going to be a recurring character next season.
This is probably one of the last shows I ever expected Tony Danza to
Me
be
too,
in.
But he was so good.
Yeah, his character is Stefano. So it seems like, we've got the New Jersey mob with Sal Baselli, who I could not care about at all. And he's just like prototypical. Like, okay, another one beef with this episode, by the way. Did we really need a scene where we have a mob boss going and selecting a song and pushing play? At one point, I thought we were just, okay, you might as well just fade to black the ending and then just be done with it. You're going to rip off The Sopranos that much.
Yeah, I couldn't care less about Saul, but I am all invested in Stefano, which is, it's good to be going in to the next season, having somebody he's also really charismatic, and they've done a really good job with the little bit that we got to see of him. They've been able to make me really excited about him.
I really also just love his weird front of like running an aquarium store, because it's like so random. And then after he does his negotiations with Sal, he's just basically like, oh, by the way, the woman that I talked to, she came in and bought this, that, and the other thing. What's the biggest aquarium you got?
It's going to be interesting to see how that all goes down next season, especially with Rock really kind of isolating herself. Her and Lulu, they are like way out. When he learned that she's got part of his company, he really wanted to keep this company for himself. I've made this comparison before to Animal Kingdom and Darren, where he had his bar where he was like, Smurf, you can't touch my bar. My bar is my bar. I'm not running anything through it. It's mine. This was how Lulu felt about his music business and his studio. He was like, nope, you're not running anything through here. This is mine. This is my legit business. Stay away from it. So for him to find out that Rock already owns a piece of it was just like devastating for him. And that conversation where Rock is basically like, the only reason you eat is because of me. I own you. I mean, when he went back to his studio, I was just like, no, I'm out. I don't want the studio anymore. I want nothing to do with anything anymore. I'm gone.
That poses the really big question is that why would Lulu even stay in New York after all of this? Like, I'm not saying I want the character to leave, but
No.
it's just sort of it's a situation where Rock is clearly manipulating his every move in Queens. Ziza's now dead, seemingly. Like, he has...
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. We're all so terribly sad.
We all love that character so much.
It's just the situation where there's nothing really keeping him there anymore. And if he wants to go and make music, just like hop in a car, go to LA, start something new. Like, there are other opportunities out there where Rock's got other problems in her own backyard. At a certain point, she won't be worrying about you as much.
Okay, the thing that I think that's actually going to keep Lulu there is Marvin. I knew they were setting this season up for all of us to get so invested back in Marvin, to watch his journey, to see him growing, to see his relationship with his daughter coming back together, where she's moved back in. And he's, we did see that he did have to make the decision to kill Sam. After all, we saw how much that weighed on him. He really wanted to be able to move forward and do more good than bad, and that he's really struggling with this idea that no matter what he wants, he's still stuck kind of in where he is. So to see us go through this journey with him all season long, to see him get shot at the end, I mean, I knew it was coming. I didn't think they were going to kill him. Seemingly, he's not dead. I don't think he is. I don't think they want to lose this actor at this point. I mean, I don't, but he got pulled into an apartment seemingly by one of the neighbors. It's like, I got you, come on in. But if he's doing really badly, I can see Lulu getting that information and deciding not to leave. I know they haven't always had the best relationship, but it's changed quite a bit this season.
And Marvin has changed quite a bit this season.
Yep.
He is definitely opening himself up more. I mean, Jukebox deciding to go and live with him again is a major step forward. Yeah, that was a very wholesome scene, given everything that happened between the two of them last season.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping for a moment where Jukebox was going to apologize to her dad for her part in coming at him and attacking him, where he retaliated, which he never should have done, and he never should have touched her. I was hoping for a little bit about that, but she's a teenager. We've all been teenagers. We don't have that maturity to always know how to do that. I think she is sorry for her part in it, though. But I mean, teenagers are teenagers.
Yeah.
We're not always able to step up and tell our parents that we're sorry for what we did.
Okay, it's time to get to the part of the finale that may have actually surprised me more than anything, and I'm not saying this necessarily in a good way, but it's that Burke is still alive. Burke is still a functional part of this world. Now, it's another thing I've seen a lot on Twitter, and I think we've gotten a couple of comments about it too, that Burke is just going to become the Cooper Saxe of this show, and I have a quick response to this. How dare you besmirch the name of the great Cooper Saxe? See, Cooper Saxe,
what's happening here?
He's an incredible character in that I love making fun of him so much. He is such a tool. He has no redeeming qualities, but he's so unintentionally bad at everything that he does that I find him very entertaining, and I will miss him when he is gone. I will say that unironically. Burke does nothing for me. She's not terrible at her job or bumbling in the way that Saxe is. She doesn't have that air of just ridiculous elitism about her. It's just, she's just this hard-nosed cop we've seen on a bunch of shows that's just going to get herself in trouble.
Yeah, I thought that they were really going to do a lot more with her and Jukebox this season. They had sort of introduced that story last season. We had a little bit of that in this finale where she came to Jukebox, was like, listen, this about Kanan, this about Howard, the same thing she's just been repeating to anybody who will listen, where Jukebox is like, I'm not confirming anything for you, but I will let you know that you have a target on your back. It's sort of the idea of what was going on with Nicole's father, with Howard sort of planting this idea that it was Burke that got Nicole these drugs that ended up with her dad. And we saw Jukebox even admit to Nicole's dad, that is not what happened. I'm not going to burn this cop for nothing. She didn't do anything. This is what's actually happened. And now I'm kind of like, is that going to end up being a story that comes up next season where Nicole's dad doesn't know what to do with this information? I mean, there was a lot of kind of hanging stories for Jukebox because her mom is also dead, showed up at Rock's house during all these shootouts, got killed. We learned finally how, the church and Kenya found out about Jukebox's life, that this boy just ratted her out and it was all a big setup. I mean, there's a lot going into the next season for Jukebox.
There is just a lot that she's going to have to unpack and deal with. And I think the question, of course, still is what leads to her becoming a cop down the road, especially given the scene of negotiation we even saw with her and, Burke in this episode, where it's clear that she still doesn't have any sort of love for the police. So it does make me wonder further, it's something that this is something that Rock or somebody else manipulates her into, thinking that, it'd be great, to have somebody on the inside who can look after us in some way.
Yeah, I had been wondering if that was where she was going to go, but when they had introduced Burke, I thought maybe Burke was going to become a bit of a mentor for her, and that still might play out.
The other thing, and I think the famous story, speaking of people who have made a number of questionable decisions, I really thought that they were going to do more with Famous in the finale than they did. I'm guessing it's just an issue of they only had so much time and they decided that they weren't going to Ryan Murphy the situation and make this an 80-minute finale. But it's this kid just killed somebody and now they're, other than him just running and being super paranoid, there really wasn't that much more to his story.
No, there was just the witness who has decided to say nothing. He's got a card. Is he going to say something? I don't know. Probably not. I'm not sure. It's again, we're probably going to see more of that next season. There really was kind of not a Ryan Murphy situation going on, but there was a lot of situations going on. I thought that there was going to be a lot more with Kanan in this finale, and there wasn't. Yeah. It was, he's still trying to get money. Famous is you gotta kick in for this apartment. I can't do this by myself. He's no problem. He's openly stealing from his mom. Marvin has told her. She's all right, I gotta deal with this too. And Burke, of course, sees him on the street, brings him to the place that Howard got shot, starts with the same story over and over again. I know this, Howard this, CI this, your mom this. And he ends up pushing her to the ground, trying to get away, which he knew immediately he was oh no, I really crossed the line. Yeah. Goes to Howard's house, tells him what happens. And they're really sitting in the spot at this point where Howard's okay, it's time that we sit down with your mom. We all have to come up with some kind of a story here. We all have to be on the same page. And we saw them show up at the end where we've got Unique covered in blood. We got Rock covered in blood. There's dead bodies everywhere. And Howard's just showing up at the house being hello? Hello?
Okay. All right. Raising Kanan writers, Sasha Penn, I know you guys are all watching this video. I'm going to pretend you haven't already started filming season 3 and you can just do exactly what we want. I do not want a single time jump here. I do not want things to move forward.
Please, no.
Just start season 3 with the conversation between these 4 people where, Howard and Rock are going to try to come up with something. And it's just Unique, who's just kind of randomly there listening to it.
Yeah, I really don't want a time jump. There's just so much going on here with, Marvin's bleeding out in this apartment, the scrambling of it all. I want to see Rock here at the bottom, not really knowing what to do and where to go from here. I want to see this beginning of this new friendship or at least working relationship with Rock, with Unique. How are they both now on the bottom going to rise back up? How is she going to fix her relationships with her family? She's just in such a bad spot.
Well, rest assured, we will be here to discuss all of this and so much more. Yep. Let's just cross our fingers and hope that season 3 is out in I don't know, the summer or the fall of next year. We'll see.
So long.
I know. What are you, Starz? Get your stuff together. But anyway, go ahead and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any other updates. House of the Dragon coming later tonight. We don't want you guys to miss that, and we'll see you here next time.